Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to the den. I am Reveal It Rob, Wolfman Rob, or just Rob, whatever you feel like calling me, man. But appreciate you hitting that play and coming over here to hang out, be it the YouTube channel or the audio, wherever you listen to your audio cast and all that stuff, man. Very much appreciate it. I went to the movie theater for the first time in 2026, seeing a 2026 film, man. Nothing like that for a movie fan, especially someone who likes going to theaters. Nothing like that feeling of going to the movie theater for the first time in a brand new year and checking out a brand new movie in theaters and all that stuff, man. Sometimes it can go bad. Sometimes the movie doesn't live up to expectations and all that stuff, but sometimes it works out pretty well, man. So again, appreciate you coming over here. Today I'm going to be talking about the film Primate. I actually saw two movies in theaters this week, and then I watched another new movie at home. So I've seen three films released in 2026 already, man. Kicking off the year very fast with adding up the movies that released this year. But I'm going to be reviewing all those throughout the week, man. So be on the lookout for those. But we're going to start off here with the first film that I saw in 2026, released in 2026, and in theaters, man. And again, that's going to be for the film Primate, man. So let's pull up that poster real quick. There you go. Something's wrong with Ben. Let's talk about the details of this film real quick. It is rated R for gore, strong violent content, language, and some drug use. It is classified as a horror mystery thriller film. It's trifecta of awesome right there. And it has a runtime of 1 hour and 29 minutes. So almost at 1 hour and 30 minutes. Close, but pretty easy breezy watch time, right, man? An hour 30 minutes, pretty good for a horror mystery thriller film. Get you in there, get you quick to the point. Story wise, I didn't know the synopsis really for this movie. I've only seen the trailers. I tend to not read synopses when I go into the movies. I just like to see what I get from the trailer and just go in from there a lot of the time. And I remember seeing this trailer a couple times in theaters, like, this is interesting. Like, this is an interesting idea. It gives me like, you know, Cujo vibes, if you will, and all that stuff, to where, it's like a pet goes crazy kind of situation. But obviously, this is very different. We're dealing with a primate, we're dealing with a chimp, which there's always been, like, you've heard the horror stories of, people having chimps as pets and all that stuff, and how things could go wrong there. And when they go wrong, they go violently bad, and all that stuff. So I remember seeing the trailer. I'm like, this is an interesting concept of an idea and all that stuff. And all that. And then obviously it wasn't gonna be like the monkey, where the monkey was like a toy and all that stuff. Like, this is an actual chimp that's gonna be the center point of this movie and everything. So story wise, movie not that complicated. Very simple story to follow along with. Family brings in a chimp, helps, smart, all that stuff that they do with chimpanzees and all that stuff. And they had the chimp with the family and all that stuff. And then, so it's like a part of the family and all that stuff, and you don't feel any worries or anything like that with them. You feel like comfortability. You know what I'm saying? Got to, of course, talk around myself not to do any spoilers for all of you. So if you hear me pause or divert or say something weird, because I'm trying not to spoil anything. So you have all that. So big sis coming home, has been away from the family for a while, doing her stuff. Comes home and all that stuff. Has some friends with her. The dad's gonna go out of town, so obviously friends are gonna do a little parties and all that stuff. And then we just see how things go with the chimp throughout the film and all the stuff. And then the horrors and the aspect of everything that goes on from there. Simple, basic concept, easy to follow along with. You're not gonna be racking your brain. It's not overly complicated of a movie or anything like that. The main thing you're gonna be trying to think about is what's going on with the chimp, which they kind of, not even kind of, they tell you, or lead you to what's going to be happening with this chimp right at the beginning of the movie. So you get the idea of what's happening. So we go from there. So the story is easy. The thing that very much works with this movie, the story kept me interested the whole time. The thing that works the best with this movie is the tension. The tension in this movie is fan flipping tastic, because obviously, like we mentioned, family member, right? The ship's part of the family and all that stuff. And of course, there are friends that, are over here now. One of them knows them, the other one doesn't, and all that stuff. New friend around, new to the chimp. So might be maybe a little bit of awkwardness there where the chimp's got to get used to him and all that. But for the most part, calm, right? Calm, understood it, easy to be around, understands the handlers, the family, whatever you want to call them. Obviously, the family, not the handlers, but understands the family and all that. So going from there, and seeing as the movie progresses and seeing what's happening with Ben throughout this movie and what's going on, and just seeing the progression of Ben's change throughout the film is good. Like they did that very well, and just the tension of all of that building on because you're like, something's wrong with Ben, right? Like the poster said, something's wrong with Ben. And even though they tell you in the movie, early in the movie where it's leading to, you get, what's going on with the Ben and what's happening, and just seeing that progression and just the way Ben's attitude's changed from family member to just freaking crazed animal. So well done. It just keeps you on edge while you're watching the movie, man. Like the whole time I was watching the movie, I was on edge to try to figure out how are they gonna get by this, because they're in like a secluded area. This isn't like they're not like in the woods or anything. They're, dad's famous author or whatever. They're in like a Richie mansion and all that stuff, but it's kind of a secluded mansion. It's like one of those things they even show you in the movie. Like they do a widescape of show you how they're not really close to much of anything, right? They're kind of there by themselves. So now they're secluded in this house with this chimpanzee that has gone bonkers, um, and it's just that tension of trying to figure out what can they do or how are they going to be able to get out of this, if they can even get out of this, and just seeing the situation they get stuck in, like, and all that stuff. Like they show you the trailer at one point, they're in a pool with the chimp right there, and they've got to try to get out of that to go get, I don't know, a phone or try to alert something somewhere and all that stuff, right? It's tough. Like it's tough, and the tension in that aspect is so flipping good, man. Um, which leads you into the horror aspect as well with this movie and the gore, as we mentioned there with the rating, the gore and the violent content. Very well done in the movie as well. From seeing behind the scenes stuff and all this stuff, this movie does look like it's pretty much practical. Maybe there's some computer stuff thrown in there a little bit, but for the most part, it looks very practical. Even when you're watching the movie, it feels very practical and all that stuff. Like they did a really good job of piecing that all together and making the violent content and the gore and the kills and any kind of stuff like that in the movie very well done, very well done, more so than other movies I watched this week. I'm going to throw that out there with you. um, but yeah, very well done, like very well put together movie. Primate is a pleasant surprise and a very good start to the year for me, as not just a horror fan but as a movie fan. Like I mentioned earlier, there's been times I've seen a movie for the first time in a year. It wasn't too good. This one, great start, kickoff for the year, man. Very solid movie. Again, story, easy to follow along with, good story. The tension's the best part of the movie. The horror stuff that you get into for watching and wanting to watch horror movies, good stuff there as well. All of it makes sense. All of it works very well. There was no lull moments for me at all while watching this movie. Like the pace, again, very good, an hour 30 minutes. You're not going to run into really any issues with this. You're going to be entertained and, pulled into the movie from start to finish, as far as I'm concerned. As far as credit scenes and stuff like that go, there's like a audio stinger in the credits and all that stuff, not like a traditional scene or anything like that, but there's like an audio stinger in there to kind of mess with you and all that. Who knows what the future would be at all with anything involving this movie. But solid film, man. Like I had a good time with this movie. So if you're on the fence about seeing Primate, go see it. Like it's absolutely worth your time to go see in theaters. It is very well done. It's very well put together, and it's going to be entertaining for you, especially if you like horror and gore and all that stuff, man. Especially when it's done good, especially in suspension access with the terror access. Access is not the word, whatever. But I liked Primate, man. So 2026 off to a good start with that. We'll see how it goes with the next film I'm going to end up reviewing and putting out here with you and my thoughts on that movie. And then there's another one after that to talk about, man. But this is the first one. So again, appreciate you coming over here. I'd like to always remind you that you matter. You're capable, incredible, incredible things. Be kind to yourself. Trust yourself. Give yourself some peace and love. I know it's tough and all that stuff, but just follow your heart. Be yourself. Be true to yourself, because you do truly matter. You're capable, incredible things. And that's gonna be do it for this review here, man. So appreciate you joining in and listening. Of course, like I mentioned, I have more reviews to talk about throughout the week. And as always, here on the YouTube or the audio, wherever you're watching or listening to this here podcast. But as always, like to appreciate Jeff for hanging out with me. So many movie reviews out there. So appreciate you checking out mine as well. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember, you matter, man. Talk to you next review.